Hi, this video is going to act as a quick little summary of chapter one of our promo textbook covering the world of integrated marketing communications. It's going to cover a little, some definitions. What is promotion? What is integrated marketing communications? What are we talking about? Go over some basic models, some of the different ways that we promote, kind of classifying those, and also talking about the role in the greater kind of business process. So jumping right into it, promotion. Like, what is promotion? At a very basic level, it's the things that we do to try and get some sort of favorable reaction, some sort of good feeling, some sort of sale, either about a product or a service. And we do lots of different promotions out there. And the conglomerate of that, how we put those together, is our promotional mix. Advertising is one of those tools. So this is one of those, all advertising is promotion, but not all promotion is advertising things. Advertising, when someone asks you what is marketing, they tend to say, oh, it's advertising, but it's not that, just that. Advertising is specifically just that mass media attempt to put your brand or your product out there using a bunch of different tools. There's also sales promotions, direct marketing, personal sales, some of the other things that are on this page as well. So it's more than just advertising that can go into promotion and marketing. Here's just an example. So here's an ad, Heinz ketchup here. Like, what are they trying to show with us with this ad? What are they trying to get us to see? They're obviously trying to tie in ketchup. That's what they do. They're probably trying to tie in some sort of natural feeling because it's actually little pieces of ketchup or little pieces of tomato that make up the ketchup bottle. But this is an ad that they put together to try and get some sort of response out of you and trying to get you to think, hey, this is fresh because actual tomatoes make up the ketchup right here. So what made that an ad? It's kind of hard to define sometimes, but try and put a little bit of barriers on it. Ad for the most of the time when we're thinking it's that print. It's that kind of paid service that you would put up there, a poster, an online banner. Most of the times they're what's thought as ads. There's lots of other things that go along with it. The first one here, and it's also talked about in your book, like Will Smith going on the Late Show. It's not really advertising. It's more of a personal kind of recommendation. So just when we think advertising, really just talk about those print. Like, it's the design aspect of it that really kind of drives advertising, and it's a function of the integrated marketing communication, everything put together. So what makes integration in the marketing communication really important is that it's also a plan. There's lots of cool looking ads out there that are cool to look at, but are just one-offs. Well, that's not what a company wants to try and do. They want to put a bunch of different promotional channels and their promotional mix together, and they want to have a plan. And a lot of times those plans are laid out for 6 months or a year in advance in what's called a campaign. So an advertising campaign is something more than just an ad. An ad is standalone. Campaign is going over time, trying to drive the viewer to a single message that they might see. And a lot of times campaigns will have a series of ads that are somewhat related. Slide here. These two images are going to compare to different audiences for sure. So our limitations from that audience can prevent it from reaching their audience. This is how the book kind of shows it, with production on the left there. These are the people sitting in the room coming up with ideas, and they're shooting it out for the reception, which is the people on the outside trying to that are the consumers of that information. The context, the understanding, the meanings that they have. Message goes out, intent comes back in. It's a circle, it's a feedback loop, because through accommodation negotiation, the production side of it is trying to make better ads to deliver to the reception side of it to get a better response from what they're doing. Keep talking a lot about audience too. So audience, every ad has an audience that it's going to someone, and it's going to a target audience, because it's most of the time not everyone buys your product. So to get best bang for your buck, you want to get it to the people that actually buy your product. So you put it out there to your target audience. There's a couple of different target audiences listed here. You know, household consumers, members of a business organization, trade channels, professionals, government. Those are all different kind of audiences. And if you're going to them, then you need to understand that. And you need to deliver campaigns that are going to be effective and reach the person that you're trying to get them to. You know, a household consumer, you know, a stay-at-home mom or dad is going to have a much different appeal than, say, you know, a business organization. So how you put that ad together is going to have to be different from one to the other. Also, geography plays a big role in it. Kind of one of the adages in advertising is the more local you can get it, the more response you can get. And that's just because you know your target audience more. So if you're doing a really local promotion, you know things about your audience, you know, and their community that you might be able to leverage. Here in Seattle, I mean, this is, right, maybe regional here, local, regional. We talk about Seahawks. That's why every company wants to be the official sponsor of the Seahawks, because they get a good bite on that. But on the other end of the spectrum, there's definitely global promotions that happen as well. You know, think about Coke, right? Coke is everywhere. They are, you know, have a global perspective on how they put their, I guess, the polar bears at the holiday times, that kind of commercial and posters that you might see. So difference between international and global, though global is just like far spreading across the globe. International may not be as, you know, there's companies that have an international presence, but not maybe a global presence. You know, they may have, you know, US and European focus, but it may not go to, you know, wherever else, you know, that their product may be used. So there's a spectrum there to try and deliver the best message to your target audience that you can definitely do. You know, here's a kind of a sample of an ad too. You know, and I like when a clothing store has a sale on select merchandise. Why is it always merchandise you'll never select? There's a lot of truth in that. But, you know, here's maybe an example of, you know, kind of a local store. This is, you know, obviously New York here, trying to get some geographic some geographic advertising to talk to their consumers in their area. So marketing. So marketing is, you know, we keep talking about this integrated marketing communications. Marketing is a huge part of that. Promotions is a big part of marketing, but it's kind of the overall goal of trying to get your things to sell. And in the world of marketing, you know, just like, I don't know, think of your favorite math equation. In the world of marketing, there's something called the marketing mix. And the marketing mix deals with 4 concepts. You'll often hear the marketing mix called the 4 Ps as well. And it stands for, you'll see 3 of them here: product, price, promotion, and then you see distribution. So when I say 4 Ps, it doesn't make sense, but distribution is usually written as place. So 4 Ps: product, price, place, promotion. But this wraps up what your marketing should be. So talking about your product, you know, how can you change your product, the design of your product, what does it do, right? Price pays, you know, is it worth what I'm going to have to give you to get that product? You know, are there other things that may come along with it, like 0% financing on a car? That might be a thing on price, but that also might be a thing on promotion as well. So there might be some crossover there. Promotion, you know, that's when we tend to think of advertising. It kind of falls in that promotion scale. You know, it's all those kind of coupons and contests and events that might be out there. But not to be forgotten is place or distribution. You know, where are people actually going to find your product? In the world we live in today, Amazon has messed up distribution for most companies. And I mean messed up in a good way. But, you know, think about the things you buy. Amazon tends to have them, and they tend to deliver it to your door. So we're not, you know, as a culture going to the stores anymore. Think about malls. What's happened to malls in the last 15, 20 years? They pretty much have gone out of existence. So product, price, place, promotion, 4 Ps, it's kind of the standard of the marketing world. Branding is super important to any sort of company. I'm going to say a word here. I'm going to say the word Nike. Okay. That thought that you just had in your head about what Nike is and what Nike means to you is what the brand is. So it can be symbols, the Nike swoosh. When I, say Nike to people, sometimes they think sweatshops, right? Or they think just do it. All those things, like that perception of your company, is part of your brand. And companies go to great lengths for brand management to fight over and protect their companies. So branding is a huge part of marketing. It's how you can build a little bit of name recognition. It's why do you buy name brand over secondary brands? You can have brand extensions. So it's kind of adapting new products. Think of like Dove, right? Dove started, I think, as soap. But now Dove, does, body washes, and they do hair shampoos, kind of in the same line, but an extension of what they do into the same categories. They're all trying to build loyalty. Like if you use one product, they think you're going to use more products, and the more and more products you can use, the better. Here's kind of an interesting thing. So Crest, they did kind of a brand extension here. But I'm going to tell you, like Crest, I have a 4-year-old daughter, and it's not even the shape of the Ariel toothbrush that she has. It's that they've come out with an app, a little timer app that goes with the toothbrush. So it can go beyond just the product. And that app has literally revolutionized how my daughter brushes her teeth. We don't fight anymore. She wants to get the little sticker at the end that goes into her sticker book for brushing for 2 minutes. So, there's a lot of things that can be done with shapes and differentiations and to that product and that extension of that product. Here's another one. This is for a prenatal vitamin here. What are they trying to show you here? They're trying to build some sort of connection. They're trying to, the sentimentality of what's going on, and that, you're an expecting mother, maybe you should, try the vitamins to help out and make your baby as strong as she possibly can be. So it's all kind of reaching down to positioning, marketing segmentation, differentiation. So I want to split my market up to get to the targets that I can. My target markets as best as I possibly can, and those are the market segmentations. Differentiate my product. How does Ford compare to Chevy, right? Those are different products, different differentiations. One tries to place themselves different than the other. Positioning, that's how they're actually doing it. What little niche is your company trying to exploit out there? So it's an important part of making your brand and your product as individual as it possibly can. Fendi, right? I mean, you look at this and what do you think? It's kind of odd. It's a watch, but you don't see it on a person's wrist. So what does that mean? Is it on a shelf? So they're trying to talk to who their customer is, and their customer probably isn't, me or you walking down the street, or maybe it is, maybe the fashion conscious person trying to seeing this and get some sort of reaction out of it. Revenues, profits, at the driving force of all of business is making money. If you can make more of something, there's something called economies of scale. So if I can make 10,000 of something, it's going to be cheaper for me to make it than if I'm making 10 of them. And so that's kind of ideal for me. So I want to sell more, lowers my cost, lets me make more money. But I have to be careful because even though I make more, there may not be the demand for more. So just be cautious of that. But that's also what marketing does, trying to drive demand. So what are the goals? They're trying to, create more demand for product services. It's kind of the basis. Also trying to get some sort of response. That's another goal of advertising, or some sort of attitude of the company. So they're trying to get you to buy something, do something, or think something. That's kind of the basis of promo marketing as general. Here, right? Milk did something kind of interesting. It's a milk industry, not an individual milk company. So it's an interesting kind of advertising. They're trying to just talk to a certain, talk about an industry and not about a certain product. But if you kind of look back at the history of these milk campaigns and the milk mustache that's on our boxer here, it was a really effective campaign for the group that it was targeting. So impacts. So you can have, impacts on kind of at a global level, and we call that kind of gross domestic product. So here in, gross domestic product is often thought of like by country. So, how can we in the U.S. Use our advertising to grow the national kind of exposure? And if you look back on the 50s and 60s, when the U.S. was really growing in their place in the world, a lot of it had to do with advertising. If you may have heard the Mad Men era, and there's actually a great show on AMC called Mad Men that kind of talks about advertising during this time. But it had a definite effect on the what people bought and what people thought during that time, and it's carried through today. There can be also impacts on business cycles, that during downturns, that marketing can help grow maybe either other aspects of the company, or try and pull a company out from what might be a small recession on theirs. But marketing is also big for competition. How do you differentiate yourself? How do you make yourself unique with regards to them? Here's just kind of it's an interesting little chart here, because it just talks about, okay, let's look at Honda and let's look at Walmart there, right? Walmart spends just under 300 million. Honda spends, what does that look like? About 60 million or so. So what are we trying to show with this? Well, it's really about percentage, right? Walmart's a much bigger company, that they spend 0.4% of their sales on marketing, and it's a huge amount. But Honda spends about 2.6%. So that cost is wrapped up into the product. So when you buy a car, 2.6% of that car is the money that they need to pay to advertise and promote that car to you. So value, kind of wrapping it up here, value is in the eye of the beholder. So if you see something as valuable, that's going to be good for you, but it might not be the exact same thing that I'm looking for. So trying to get people to understand what the value of the product is super important to making it a viable product that target audience really wants. And the more, like I said, that's why regional, local campaigns can be pretty effective for the total. So that is talking about integrated marketing communications here.